Once again this week we are going to see a lot of amazing Lego creations, and we are going to see some very cool part usage for creating Lego plans, as well as some Lego plans pieces used in creative ways. Welcome to This Week in Bricks. Let's start right away from Instagram, where we have a very cool build by Lego Master Mark of Forward. He made an amazing Dune sandworm. You can see here the build is amazing. The structure might be pretty heavy, so there must be an interesting structure underneath. We can see all these plate panels on the side, and the mouth of the sandworm is really, really well done, really, really cool. And of course, we have a very interesting base with some very nice layered rock work as well. And you can see also the prints of the steps of the minifigures going towards that rock structure over there. Next up, we have brick size, so we have a little bit of micro scale today as well. Of course, go and check out all of these profiles. Here we can see some micro scale Rome builds. So there are 3 of them. We have the Colosseum, we have the Trevi Fountain, and we have the Pantheon. Of course, remember, everything that I mentioned in this video is linked in the description below for you to go and check it out. Next up, we have interactive bricks, another sort of different scale kind of build. This is a Super Mario build, and of course you can see it's a very small build with less than 25 parts, which is a real challenge. I recommend you to try. Of course, you can see a very cute Mario there, but the highlight over here is this big plant that is made with the 2 upper part, the air piece, the head of the mushroom sprite minifigure. There are 2 of those put together to make it look like an open mount. I think is a very, very clever part usage over there. Another familiar face, the Roldan Grace. He built amazing Lego creation. We just featured him a few episodes ago. He built this very, very good Edward Scissorhands. It's the first time I see something like this in Lego. The whole character is really, really well done. The pose is perfect of the end. All the back side as well is actually pretty good. But you have to appreciate, in particular, the head of these minifigures is really, the head of this figure is really, really well done. And he also took some very nice shot with the snow outside. Next up, we have John Carter Creations, which is the designer of the Tales of the Space Age set, which was a very, very cool one. Another small build, but very, very cool sort of force perspective here, with this sort of planet piece at the bottom, and then we have this sort of, let's call it Martian space elevator here on top, that is very, very well built with a few parts, and I think the effect of this photography from the top is really, really well done. Then we have a brick wall. We have one more, let's say probably the last sort of Christmas build. We have a Lego Christmas house mock. It's a little bit late for Christmas, but I thought this is a very well done build, very well executed, of course with a little bit of snowy terrain. We have a nice roof with the ingots, and that sand green structure on the right has some very interesting angle. And this one also comes with a little bit of interior details, pretty well done. Now we're going to talk about a vehicle. So here we have Zilmerud, Afor from Sweden, and he built this interesting Mazda MX-5 car, which is very, very well done. Simple car, very nice lines, but there's a couple of very, very cool part usage over here. I like, as simple as it is, this cut slope that he used for the side mirrors, but the highlight to me have to be those headlights at the front. I don't know exactly what is the name of this part. I think it's a Technic Park in Transclear, and is very, 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 very cool. Move on to the next one, another familiar face, Blake Foster Eiffel. We featured recently a couple of massive builds for the 2 collaboration projects he was working on. This time we have a smaller one. This is called VV110 Astral Vortex, which is a very fast spaceship, I assume, and is super well done. The color scheme is really cool, but you have to look at and appreciate all the different angles that goes into this. Is inclined in every possible direction. Is a very, very, very good build. I highly recommend you to go and check it out. Next up, we have Brick Build Josh, another very cool build over here. We have the Treebeard on the March. So this is a sort of ends from the Lord of the Rings. is very, very well executed, very well sculpted, with a lot of reddish brown. The build is connected to the base. We have also a complete build that is very well done on the back side with those branches coming up with a little bit of foliage on top. The color scheme is very good, and I really like especially the beard and the expression. Actually, you can see the eyes of this big tree are really, really well done. Next up, we just featured him last week, Pichia74. He's building this series of sort of bonsai kind of trees, and this one is really, really cool. This is a small tree temple, so a sort of micro scale temple built on a tree. You can appreciate here everything, not just the tree itself. The temple has a very nice color scheme. Is really, really well done. You can clearly see what has been built here. We have a nice base with some rocks on some interesting angle, and the vase itself is also very elegant and very well done. Next up, we have another sort of botanical builds. This one is by Kang Lego, and is amazing. So we have this vase with these flowers, these red flowers that are made with cape pieces. Not the soft cape, but this is more like the rigid kind of cape that I think I have, for example, in Doctor Strange minifigure. A lot of those over here with the trans red minifigure right in the middle. Is very, very, very well done. It looks so cool. I think I saw this in a previous mock before, and they also have a very good part usage with the lime on the branches on top, where we have surfboards and some technic parts as well. Amazing build. Let's move to the article section on tips and bricks. We have a Star Wars mock by G Ghost 123. Very, very cool. This is called the Suburbs of Ryoto. And of course, in all these articles, you can find all the breakdown of the techniques and which parts has been used in this build. And of course, go and check out the builder profile, which is a very good one. Next up, we have a sort of beginner series, as they call it on Tips and Bricks, about ships. So here, of course, you can go through different kind of ships in official Lego sets, different parts that you can find and you can use to build these boats. And then you can see a lot of mocks and a lot of builders, familiar faces that have been featured over here, with many different kind and scale of ships. Next up, we move to New Elementary. We have an article about the International Lego Day, and this is talking about molding. So here we can see a lot of very interesting, I wouldn't say parts, because this is actually the sprue that come out of the molding machines, and some people like to collect these rare items, and maybe something that can be used for mocks as well. I particularly like these old trees where we have all these ABS pieces on top. It would be nice to get the end on one of these and using some mocks. They also have the reveal of the Lego set. This is not a mock, but I find this French Cafe very, very, very cool. And I cannot wait to see what people come up in making this into a bigger modular kind of set. So this, of course, is a great start. It has some very interesting pieces, some very interesting prints, I guess, and I assume they're not stickers, hopefully, but there are some really, really cool parts in this set. Also, Lego announced recently a new art set, the Sunflower. Maybe the best art set so far, even though there are many good ones. And it's a very interesting article that I recommend you to check out. The presentation was pretty cool. And this reminds me of my small Van Gogh habitat that I did with minifigure that come with a Starry Night, where I also have a small sunflower there in the room with him. I will link the video here somewhere so you can go and check it out as well. Then we move on to Brick Nerd. Few interesting articles here as well. Actually, a lot of them. I just highlighting some of my favorites. Here we have this article by Samuel Pistner that is interviewing Benjamin Walter, Bad Brick Boy, which is building Lego manga and anime in Europe. He has some pretty amazing build, very, very cute. I'm not familiar with all the characters represented here, but I really like this way of building characters that is really, really cute. Next up, maybe a controversial topic. So we're talking here about Lego and AI. It's an article by Isaia Duran, and what he's doing here is probably a way that you can use AI in the right way. So here is trying to use it as an inspiration. So he created some sort of dragon kind of animal kind of AI Lego adjacent build, and then he's trying to build it with bricks. So of course here is a very difficult task that he has on hand, but let's see how this series go and how this build will progress. Next up, an article by Marco Den Besten, which is an interview with Ivan Crouch, aka Evan Selt. So we have a sort of Imperial inspired mocks, very, very cool. So we have Imperials buildings and sail ships in particular, very cool builds and very interesting interview that I recommend you to check out. Of course, like every week, the place to find the best Lego mocks is always on Brothers Brick. I'm gonna highlight my favorite, some that I mentioned already in this video. They are there as well, so you can go and check out in both places because they were so good. So here we have another build by Dera that is on fire with some last few months is putting out some amazing creation. And here we have this mobile suit Gundam. Again, I'm not too familiar with this kind of characters, the source of this, because I don't follow, but I can appreciate here the building technique, and the pose of this character is just amazing. It has an amazing posability, has some very cool accessories, and I'm really surprised how people can build something like this. It is very, very cool to me. I wouldn't know where to start. The next up, this is something a little bit closer to me. Here I'm in Singapore. So here we have I think the builder is Voi Lun Lo, which is a Chinese Malaysian effort from Kuala Lumpur that is building in Lego some sorts of architecture that is really very similar to the one that I have here in the area, since we are neighboring with Malaysia. So if you like this kind of architecture, I recommend you to go and check out this article. Now we move into the Iron Forge category. So the seed part for this week is still the stem piece with the 3 procs coming out. So here we have a very cool Emerald City built by FS Lena that is going very well this year. It's a force perspective build. You can see I think it's a brick bending here at the front with this yellow brick road. Of course, the Emerald City is very well done, but we can see also 2 or 3 layers of sort of hills, mountains at the back in different color that are very well executed. Next up, we have Phil Brick that has 2 stunning builds. We have this Native American, where he's using these plant pieces all over the face of this character. You can see on the top, you can see under the eyes, the earrings, the necklace, a little bit everywhere. And of course, the character itself is so well built. The colors are just perfectly on point. He also has another very cool build that I'm gonna show you over here, which is the Scarecrow. A smaller build here, but again, very well balanced, very well use of different colors, different shade of yellow. We have some barrel pieces on the side, and we can see these stem pieces popping out a little bit everywhere. By Jewel, another familiar face, we have a Miss Piggy's Beauty Sleep. Here we can see that part used cleverly in some very interesting places, like on top. We have one coming from the lamp of Tom on top, for example. We have one as a support of the guitar. We have one under the lamp that then turn into those sword like fencing pieces. And we also have some that I didn't spot at the beginning. Under the table on the right side, like the tea table, we have 4 of those reddish brown stem pieces. So some very clever part usage over here. Of course, here I'm not going to feature all the builds from the Iron Forge because there's a lot. I'm only highlighting my favorite, but there are many good ones. I highly recommend you to go and check out the link. Here by Beta Brick, a very cool build with this bow and arrow, where these white stem pieces has been used for the back of the arrows very, very well. We also have a couple of builds by H that is stepping up his game. This is maybe at the moment the best, in my opinion, for this round, which is this sort of mid-station fish station. We have a little bit of a mess on top of this table, but we can see the pieces used there as the bone of this fish that is being cut on top of the table, and we have a lot of very interesting parts usage in red, in green, all the different accessories and knives and dirt all around this table. Very, very cool. If you go and look at it closely, you can find a lot of very interesting details. He also has another cool build, which is Gobble Gobble. That is, again, very well executed. I can spot some nice leaf colors over there at the bottom. Maybe it's a little bit of editing, but they look a little bit like pastel colors. But of course, the highlight here is at the back. We can see all this reddish brown stem coming up, opening on the side. Very, very well done build. Now, let's move into the Lego Ideas section. One recommendation this week from Mind the Brick that we featured before is the designer behind the Bricklink Designer program build, the All-Train Chef. He has this build about the Lego Idea house in Billund, which is very interesting. And if this will not make it through as a Lego Idea, I think this is something that one day could be a Lego Ideas exclusive build. As they do every year, they release one exclusive set that is sold only at the Lego house. So maybe this could be one of those exclusive sets if it doesn't make it through as an official Lego Ideas set. Now, a lot of stuff from YouTube as well today. We start from Brick War International, we featured before. A lot of interesting video this week. He completed almost 100% the Lego Roundabout and is almost about to finish his train station, which is massive. There are two videos this week about the train station, which probably is the biggest Lego train station in the world. So if you want to find out more, go and check out the channel. This is the international one, the English one, but you also have a German channel as well. Then Ben Cossi, he usually cover Bionicle related builds, but this week he has the breakdown of a beautiful castle build that he bring to the convention here down in Australia, Brickvention. Amazing castle build, and if you look at the video, there's a lot of behind the scene of all the techniques and how these trees and this castle came together. Very cool technique, and also a very well designed modular design for easy transportation. So I highly recommend you to go and check out this video. It's very interesting. Next up, we have Brixie that of course have a lot of updates about this massive Lego city. But as I mentioned before, the Lego group announced the new Sunflower set. Here we have the video from the Fan Media Day. It was a very interesting presentation, the one from the Sunflower, so you can go here and check out the video with more details. Next up, we have Racing Brick that is continuing with this series of rebrickable builds. So here we have some Transformer build. So if you are interested in this topic, go and check it out. And the build featured in this video are by a fellow Singaporean EFOL, Ransom Fern, that is, he has a YouTube channel as well. You can go and check it out. And is the designer behind the massive alternative build for the Hulkbuster. Next up, we have Brickman Brothers. That is, let's say, a secondary channel of Brickcraft, Bob Brickman. This is a sort of third channel where he's showing us the beginning of his new studio. So the museum is still going strong, but the space is limited. So now he's showing the beginning of his new building studio. It's auto-dubbed in English, so you can go and check it out even if you don't speak German. Next up, of course, Marco Folworth was the first build that we feature in the video today. He has, of course, a video that shows you a little bit more in details how this build came together. So, of course, go and check it out. It's a very cool Dune build. Next up here on the YouTube area, we have Solid Brick Studios. This is not a mock, but we have the new series of the Bricklink Designer program coming out. And this is one of the ones that has received the set to review. So of course I just like this one, but you can find many different Lego creators and ambassadors that have this set on review if you're planning on getting them. I wanted to highlight this one because I think this might be my favorite set of this round of the BDP, and I think it's a build that is much better than what I expected. After I saw the video, I thought, wait, this one is it's much better than what I expected, and I think it's going to be a very successful build in this round of the BDP program. Next up, we have Firebricks, we featured before. So we have here a sort of cinematic video that goes around this beautiful mock, which is a training camp. We have some very nice landscape, we have some very well built tent, a lot of different minifigure and vegetation going around this camp. Very, very cool. Highly recommend you to go and check it out. Next up, we have Earthbricks. He's building a Lego Castle mock. He's giving us a regular update about that, and it's coming together pretty nice. So if you like to watch series of video about how a little bit bigger mocks come together, I recommend you to go and check this one out. Next up, we have a famous Spill Build channel, All New Bricks. They did a modification on the Colosseum. Now, the set is quite old, but the Gladiator 2 came out and he decided to expand it to make it full, so not in sort of half ruin. So it's expanded in its full glory, and then he fill it up with Lego water inside to recreate the scene from the movie. That is a good movie. It's not maybe as good as the first one, but I recommend you to go and check it out as well. Of course, on a Brick Dreamer, we also have a couple of videos. We have the third batch of the minifigure habitat from the CMF 27 for you to go and check out, that my members already saw in a vlog video last week, and probably this week they're gonna see the last batch in advance before I release it to the public with the last round of habitats from the CMF 27. If you want to support the channel further, a couple of recommendations here. On Amazon US, there are 50% off on the Great Wave set, which is one of the best art sets, since we were talking about art before. A very, very cool set. If you find it on discount, you can go and pick it up. And here another set that I, of course, not planning on getting and I'm not interested into, but it has a pretty big discount. So there is the Lego Ideas BTS set at 48% off. So if you didn't pick up this and you wanted, maybe now is the chance. Or I don't know what's the number of parts in the set, but at 48% off, maybe could be a set good for parts. I don't know, up to you to go and check it out. If you make any purchases here with this affiliate link, then no extra cost for you, and I will get a little kickback to support the channel. Of course, you can just like, comment, subscribe, share the video, or go and check out more videos on my channel. Here you can see the playlist with all the previous episodes of This Week in Bricks for you to go and check out. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.